think of Mary and invoke her in all situations. Today marks the 20th anniversary of the reinstatement of the memorial of the holy name of Mary on the Roman calendar. Although this feast has a long and significant history going way back to the middle 16th century, it was removed from the Roman Church's calendar in 1969 during Vatican II. And the great Polish Pope St. John Paul II reinstated this feast in 2002 in the wake of the events of September 11th, 2001. He knew that the forces of evil who attacked on September 11th didn't pick that date arbitrarily or at random. There were significant intentions behind that date. The Pope knew that invoking our Holy Mother's name would be very important for us moving forward into this current century. So back on September 11th, 1565, Catholic forces defending all of Catholic Europe at that time resisted the Ottoman Turks, who sought the destruction of Christendom from seizing the island of Malta. But only a few years later, on October 7th, the Ottoman Empire once again tried to overtake Christian Europe. So Pope Pius V exhorted all of Europe, all of Christendom, to invoke the holy name of Mary for aid by praying the Most Holy Rosary. By invoking her name, the enemy was once again overcome by the Catholic coalition in the great naval battle of Lepanto. In gratitude to our Blessed Mother, Pope Pius would institute the feast of Our Lady of Victory, which would later become, and still remains, the feast of the Most Holy Rosary. Although they were defeated, the Ottoman Empire kept their sights on taking over the Christian empire. And what did they do? They set their sights on Vienna. So in the summer of 1683, the Ottoman Empire set siege on Vienna with over 150,000 troops. And knowing that the loss of Vienna would mean the end of Western civilization as we know it, Pope Innocent XI exhorted all of Europe to invoke the most holy name of Mary for assistance. And he also begged all of Europe for the help that they needed to defend Vienna from falling to the enemy. And on September 8th, 1683, the feast of the Nativity of Mary, the great Polish warrior king, King Jan Sobieski III, rose to the occasion. He and 18,000 members of his famous cavalry, known as the Winged Hussars, went to the shrine of Our Lady of Częstochowa in Poland to honor our Blessed Mother and to invoke her holy name for assistance. And on that day, they set for Vienna. Although greatly outnumbered, on the morning of September 12th, after worshiping God in the most holy sacrifice of the Mass, King Jan Sobieski exhorted his vastly outnumbered cavalry in this way. He said this. He said, "Let us march with confidence under the protection of heaven and with the aid of the Most Holy Virgin." And he and his great winged hussars, with the name of Mary on their lips and in their hearts, routed the Ottoman oppressors handedly and saved Christian Europe, our Catholic patrimony, and the freedom to pursue beauty, truth, goodness from the brink of destruction on that day, which was September 12th, 1698. King Jan Sobieski would send a message to Pope Innocent marking their victory with a rephrasing of the famous line from Julius Caesar when he said this. He said, "Veni, vidi, Deus vicit," which means, we came, or I came, I saw, and God conquered. Pope Innocent XI would then establish the feast of the Holy Name of Mary on September 12th, the day in which all of Christianity had been delivered from the grip of evil. The Ottoman Turks would try to undo their humiliating defeat again at the Battle of Zenta on September 11th, September 11th, the third time, 1697. But with Mary on the lips and hearts of Christians, it would once again taste defeat. The horrors of September 11, 2001 remind us that evil will always try to overcome the good, but it also reminds us that good will always prevail. However, we are living in an age where Christianity is waning and morality is crumbling. Therefore, we need the name of Mary to be etched in our hearts and on our lips now more than ever. The rosary is the greatest weapon of our times. And the reading for this feast day in the Liturgy of the Hours is taken from a writing by St. Bernard. And he says this. He says, Mary's name means Star of the Sea, and which so well befits the Virgin Mother. Mary is that bright and incomparable star, whom we need to see raised above this vast sea of this world that we live in, shining by her merits and giving us light by her example. All of you who see yourselves amid the tides of the world, tossed by storms and tempests rather than walking on the land, do not turn your eyes away from this shining star, unless you want to be overwhelmed by the hurricane. If temptation storms, or you fall upon the rocks of tribulation, look to the star. Call upon Mary. If you are tossed by the waves of pride or ambition, detraction or envy, look to the star. Call upon Mary. If anger or avarice or the desires of the flesh dash against the ship of your soul, turn your eyes to Mary. If troubled by the enormity of your crimes, ashamed by your guilty conscience, terrified by the dread of judgment, you begin to sink into the gulf of sadness or the abyss of despair, and I'll add anxiety and depression, think of Mary. In dangers, in anguish, in doubt, think of Mary. Call upon Mary. Let her name be ever on your lips, ever in your heart, and the better to obtain the help of her prayers, imitate the example of her life. Following her, you do not stray. Following her, you do not stray. Invoking her, you do not despair. Thinking of her, you do not wander. Helped by her, you do not fall. Shielded by her, you do not fear. Guided by her, you do not grow weary. Favored by her, you reach the goal. And thus, you experience in herself how good is that saying. And the Virgin's name was Mary. Think of Mary and invoke her in all situations.